Welcome to FPB's Meet the Candidates. This Cable 10 series allows you, the viewer, to get a closer look at our local candidates as we talk about topics that are important here in our community. We've gathered information and questions by social media, emails, civic groups. We've just gathered all kinds of questions people have to discuss with our local candidates. This is all leading up to the general election, which is on November 8th, and that's why we're here, is to just get informed. Today, we are joined by Kelly May, and he is a candidate for City Commission. He currently serves on our City Commission, and he's running for re-election. So let's welcome Kelly. Hey, Kelly.
How are you, Kathy? Thank you so much. We want to, of course, appreciate and thank you all for having us.
Absolutely.
And I say thank you all for having us, as in one of members of the family here in Frankfort. We're just so excited at any moment welcoming our new addition.
Dun, dun, dun. We're on baby watch.
We're on baby watch. So today, while it's supposed to be about me, it's certainly going to be mentally about her, and I'm just so excited for that.
Well, I'm glad to be a part of it now.
Yes. Yes.
I hope we get a call during the interview.
You know, I do too.
I'll come with you.
We can. We'll bring the crew. We'll start our own reality show right there.
Okay, yeah. Well, as we get started, I don't know why people may not know who you are, but
Sure.
in case there's people here who aren't familiar with you, why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself and why you are running for re-election for City Commission?
Absolutely. Well, my name is Kelly May. Have had the absolute honor of serving the past few years. This will be 2 at the end of this year as one of Frankfort's city commissioners. It's been an absolutely humbling experience, a great opportunity to really understand government's roles and responsibilities. And, you know, we are all coming out of this pandemic. And for the first kind of half, I will say, of our term, we had to certainly operate under those protocols. And now having the opportunity to have spent time learning the role a little bit more, learning how we can be effective and efficient in our roles and in our seats, I'm really excited to put that, you know, newfound vision and approach and experience to use for this community. We have seen a lot of growth already in our short term and a lot of interest both economically in this community as far as growth is concerned, and I really want to continue to be a voice of reason and fairness for everyone so that we all move forward in the right direction.
That's great. So again, you're finishing up a 2-year term.
Right.
So in addition to that experience, what would you say, what other experience do you have and skills do you think that qualifies you to be on this commission?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, in my personal professional career before choosing to take this leap, I worked in hospitality for 9 years, specifically with Hilton Hotels, and I started at the bottom there, working as a banquet houseman, rolling tables, throwing linens down, helping facilitate events, and worked my way up to assistant banquet manager at my end of my time there. And through that process, not only did I learn a lot about the importance of having strong procedures and organizational tools in place for a business to work and operate. And I do kind of see, you know, when we boil down government to its main roles of collecting taxes and providing services, I look at it from that stand of a business, and the taxpayers are our customers. That has helped me. One of the things I really enjoyed in that job was being a room inspector for when we had the corporate bigwigs coming in. Mm-hmm. So our job, we called it Midnight Madness, and we would all run in, all the managers, when we knew they were coming, and make sure everything was ready. I love that idea of going into a hotel room and looking up, down, everywhere, and seeing what problems were there and how we can make things better. Mm-hmm. And I take that experience and that attention to detail when I drive the community. You know, I'm always looking for how can we make something better so that the snapshot, not only for those that live here, you know, that's the long-term investments, but when we think about economic growth and attracting people to our community to live or do business, I look at that snapshot. If I'm driving into town, if I'm coming down Wilkinson Boulevard or I'm coming in off the interstate, what can we do constantly along the way to improve it, right? Yeah, because that was something that was kind of drilled in my head.
Yeah.
And as a small business owner, learning the struggles of, right now and I don't think we're unique in our community with this issue, workforce, sometimes lack of, and needing to strengthen that. And I think, government's role in strengthening that, again, is recruitment so that there are opportunities for jobs. And then I also think continuing to provide services so that the businesses and those that are working here and are invested want to stay here and continue, to further their career along. That has been a great perspective. That has helped me so much
Sure.
In government, and really understanding the needs and wants of our community and services. And that, when you own a small business, you hear directly.
Sure. So there are 6 candidates on the ballot for city commissioner. The top 4 vote getters will serve. So what would you say distinguishes you from all the other candidates?
Well, I think I'm very unique in how I approach every single conversation that we have. I'm not unique in that I have opinions when we come to the table about where I stand on a topic. But I really think my role when I sit at the table is to listen at that moment. Sometimes I hear people will say that I don't speak a lot during the meetings. And typically what I'm doing is I'm trying to listen to the thoughts of everyone in the room.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. I don't have, we'll hear a lot in politics, there's a personal agenda, there's an agenda. Well, of course we all have something or multiple things we're working for and towards, but ultimately, until my name is called out over roll call and I'm asked to vote yes or no, I'm constantly bouncing ideas and opinions from my fellow board members, city staff, any other experts in the room, the emails, text, phone calls, anything like that have come through from citizens that are wanting to, express their interest. That is a role that I think is very important to have in a board, and I believe it's one of my strengths and uniquenesses that I constantly bring to the table.
Okay. So you're in the know because you are on the city commission. So what is the biggest issue that is facing our community right now?
So I'll go 2 parts, if
Okay.
I may.
Sure.
I think the greatest opportunity that we have right now, with all this interest in our community, people wanting to grow that are already here, we really have an opportunity to bring together so many of the plans that have been formulated over the years. In 2009, the river development plan was completed. 2018, the downtown master plan. 2020, the arts master plan. 2021, the parks master plan. So one of the things that I'm very proud of that this commission was able to do, and we did with the help of Penny Peevler, is we took a broad look, 30,000-foot view of all those and said, let's formulate a strategic plan to get that information and investment of time and tax dollars to get those plans there moving forward, and prioritizing how we make that happen as far as what the community's current needs are and how we budget and achieve those goals. So the greatest opportunity, in my opinion, right now that we need to be pushing everything towards is accomplishing those 4 priorities that we outline in that strategic plan.
Okay.
So those are the, economic development, our IDEA values, so the inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility, our sustainability, and telling Frankfort's story. Our communication, getting our story out there to everybody in a really positive way.
Right.
Now, issue as a whole, I see we've got to really focus on the fact that we're all on the same team, that we all need to be rowing in the same direction. And that goes from government agencies, quasi-government agencies, down to the citizenship level.
Yeah.
We have to remember that everything that we're inundated with on our cell phones daily about what's happening across this country, across this world, the best thing we can do is focus on how we make our lives better here at home. And it pains me to see so much division on topics locally where we really have an opportunity to, again, to come together and showcase what makes us unique, what makes us a place worth coming to. So in a perfect world, I would say, the one thing facing our community that I think we really biggest issue is, let's just all remember that at the end of the day, all our driver's license either say Franklin County or Frankfort as far as where we live, and that's something we have in common. And, how you're registered to vote and what political party you choose to affiliate with can matter. But I don't think on the local level that needs to be a focus of conversation and something that pits us against one another.
Okay.
I'm Kelly May when I sit down at the table, not
Yeah.
Kelly May, Democrat or Republican or
Yeah,
independent.
well, then
Right.
the city commission's a nonpartisan race.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, in addition to the goals of the strategic plan, there are also other organizations and departments in, city government that come to the city commission and they want money.
Sure.
They need money for projects and things that are happening and all towards, maybe working towards the goals of the strategic plan as well.
Right.
So how do you process those requests? And then what would you consider your funding priorities?
Me personally, when we're processing the requests, and I'm not sure if you mean literally the process or
No,
internally how I process it. Okay. I look at it, as a big piece of the pie in order for the city to function. Those four main pillars have to be taken care of when we make decisions. Our mission statement: build for the future and preserve its unique history through responsive and compassionate service for all citizens. So any decision, we have to go back to that idea. Does it help support economic development? Does it help support the sustainability, the quality of life, and does it benefit the roundabout way of taxes coming in, raising the taxes, then reinvesting back into the community? I try to look at, is this project going to do one of those two things, so that we can continue that perpetual motion of funding the services,
Right.
collect the taxes, provide the services.
Right.
So I do prioritize economic development from that standpoint, knowing that we can collect more taxes that we can reinvest back in the community.
Sure.
Now, sometimes you may go, okay, well, it's just a sidewalk. Well, I look at it as, well, sure, to us that maybe don't live there in that particular neighborhood or don't use some of the businesses that may live in that area, it may just be a sidewalk. But I look at it as an opportunity to connect more people, which time and time again shows that connectability helps with economic vitality. So again, it's just that you're just weighing and balancing, is this good for one very small, minute piece of the pie, or does it help cover it,
Well, all of that has to fit into a budget.
Right.
And so let's talk about the budget for a minute.
Sure.
Well, first of all, again, you having served, you have that experience with a budget, but can you share with our viewers what experience you have working with large budgets? Because, we're talking about the City of Frankfort, and it's a large budget to deal with,
Sure.
millions of dollars. So what's
Right.
your experience in dealing with budgets?
Okay, so outside of the city, having small businesses, of course, my role was absolutely to balance our budget to make sure that we could maintain a profit, or so we could stay here. Our investment stayed in Frankfort; those resources stay here. So, dollars and cents, the amount is certainly, I guess, an important part of that. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I think the success is, did you balance it? So looking at the percentage of it, and maintaining those goals. In my previous career, in hospitality, I think our specific department had a budget of around $3.5 million annually to work with. But my role again is I look at how to maximize the return, whether it's $1 or $1 million. I'm constantly going to be assessing, is it a good return?
Yeah.
And if it is a flat return, does the flat return translate or correlate to, sparking another project that may give us a greater return? So sometimes like a loss leader, we'll call that, in hospitality or food and beverage.
Right.
But with us, it's making sure that the return of that dollar all the time is there.
Okay. Well, I don't think it's any secret that we're looking at a revenue shortfall. So if reelected, what are some steps that you would take or propose to put our city on firmer financial footing?
Well, I truly believe in enacting our strategic plan. Again, from the building up the tax base.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, my priority will always be addressing revenue shortfalls by looking how to increase revenue. And we have to have creative solutions to do that. We have to have, we have to be willing to take bold steps sometimes to do that. I am proud that this commission, we worked with our governor, our state legislator, to get up a part of our downtown master plan that is huge in economic development, with the Broadway Bridge. We got awarded $3.5 million to work on that. And that is something that we took the initiative, to go out and work for and get. That, again, is that connectability piece to economic development. Those areas become more attractive to developers, to people that may want to move here because of the accessibility to different goods and services. So first and foremost, it'll always be, if we have to choose between collecting more taxes from citizens by raising rates or anything, it's not something that I run on. It's not something that I look at as a way to just jump right out and approach as a solution. And then of course you can also look at cutting funding to other programs or investments, or how do you save, maybe is a better way of saying that. So we started working with the National Renewable Energy Labs, funded through the Department of Energy, or working with the Department of Energy, to look at how city operations can be more sustainable from an energy standpoint. And one of the things that we're really aggressively looking at is how we can be more efficient in our operations just by changing, your standard energy audits, your light bulbs, your insulation, your EV fleet in your car. So if we can save money as well to then reinvest, that's really important as well.
Okay. Well, I know recently we've talked about some taxes that they're looking at increasing that have been proposed and brought to the city commission. I will tell you that our viewers have some concerns about that, and and that we're all experiencing a time of high inflation. So the question is, what belt tightening could you, as a commissioner, advocate for to make sure the city is not spending money it doesn't have, so that it too can live within its means, just like your constituents have to?
Great question.
Yeah.
So, of course, any decision I make will impact me as well. I hear you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And again, as I stated earlier, discussing something does not mean that I've made my mind up one way or the other. I don't promise that I won't, but I'm not sitting here with the idea that I will, or that I think that's the only way we can move forward. Belt tightening, and I love that. Again, back to, as we were talking about, looking at how we operate more efficiently. I think our last energy audit, again, was probably back in, I think it was 2009, one of the big overhauls. Lots changed since then. Energy efficiency has changed. Technology to understand how we can be more efficient has changed. So we're looking, at all of those things. And I think we need to continue to look at all of those things. I'm certainly going to always be open to suggestions. Again, looking as we dive into projects, I think it's important that we, as new commissioners, those of us that haven't served before,
Yeah.
we try to pick up on what has been done already and what's already in motion, so that we are not, I don't want to say paying double for something, but that we're not going back and rehashing either the same arguments or spending the same time and money on the same thing. So we've got to always look at, what's there right now
Yep.
that we can pick back up and keep going to increase that.
Okay. So that kind of leads me into my next question.
Sure.
As far as trying not to double efforts. People have been talking about merger. Would
Yeah.
that make things more efficient? Is it time to revisit that issue? City and county government merging?
I'll just be real quick with that one.
Okay.
Well, maybe not. Maybe it won't be quick.
Yeah.
I don't have a strong opinion
Okay.
on wanting to merger
Yeah.
or wanting to go that direction. It just hasn't been a priority of conversation
Right.
for me. I haven't seen overall, until someone can come and say, this will save us this
Right.
will save us that, this
Yeah.
will increase. I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
No one's really brought that to me. So for me, the conversation of merger is probably the same as it is in just kind of the community. I get some people are for it, some people are against it.
Yeah.
Personally, it's not a priority of mine.
Yeah.
Something that I'm, saying, I think this will fix all of the problems
Right.
that Franklin County is facing. So as I sit here right now, it's not something at the forefront of my thought process. But anybody has anything that says, this is the way to move,
Gonna save us money.
let's talk about it.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Okay. Well, you've been talking about how economic development is a priority. Simple question. How would you define economic development?
Well, I look at economic development pretty simply in that we need to identify what areas we have available for economic development. So if we're looking at needing more industrial land, and yet we're restricted, then we need to look at how we either acquire more industrial land or get more areas pad ready. Or we need to switch our focus on how we identify what properties are available, in the urban core. So we identify what we have. I think we need to catalog what we have so it's easily accessible for anyone that's interested in coming to our community or developing our community. We need to recruit those individuals. Then once we recruit them, by doing the research, we need researching where industries are headed, what our demographics support, what our community wants, using that research to recruit, and then retain the people once we get them here, retain those businesses, keep them interested, have conversations with those companies. Where do you see yourselves in 10 years in our community? Do you have any interest in expansion? So identify what's available, research to figure out what will work there in those spots and what the community will support, then go out and recruit those companies and businesses that fit into that platform, and then do everything we can to retain them. So then the system of, again, taxes coming
Right,
back
right.
through.
So whose role is that? Because I know we have different economic
Right.
development groups, ideas. Is there, one overarching, and I guess I'm getting to, what do you see as the role of the Kentucky Capital Development Corporation, and how does that fit in with the vision of City Commission?
Sure.
For economic development?
To my opinion, their role is to promote the city of Frankfort, Franklin County, in a positive way, and one that promotes a growth forward mentality. And then having conversations with those companies, businesses that are interested in our community, and letting the commission know, fiscal court know, that those companies are interested, so that maybe we can start having conversations about what we could do as far as helping recruit entities there. You know, if you look at the Parsons Farm project, again, 30 years zoned for commercial development and connected to Franklin Square right off the interstate, you know, great spot. 30 years it has been there.
Yeah.
We worked at having conversations and helping pass a TIF to get them here. I can't help but think that if it's set for 30 years, if it was going to be done, it would have by now. So I'm very proud of that. And I think that everybody's role is to work together and to focus on what we can do in this community, what we're willing to do, and not worry so much about what we wish we would have had.
Yeah.
Let's work on what we can have and what we want.
Okay. If reelected, would you support the city's continued funding of KCDC?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, we have funded, and at this point, I have continued to,
Okay.
yeah.
What do you think it means to be a pro-growth candidate?
To be a pro-growth candidate, well, first and foremost, you know, you've got to be looking at how we grow. So coming, understanding, you know, I say the core class curriculum, back to what are our plans? What are we going to do? Which way do we want to head? And I think that, again, it's going back to understanding all the strategic plans that we have worked on to get in place. And then being willing to listen. We've got to listen to both sides of, you know, from the local development side, local developers, and then figuring out how we can take, I believe perception's reality. So when it comes to, if there's developers in our community that don't feel like they're welcome here, that don't feel like we're doing everything we need to do, then, okay, we've got to hear them out, have that conversation. So pro-growth is listening.
Yep.
And pro-growth is then taking that information back and saying, okay, this is what people are experiencing and feeling. How do we resolve that and make sure that everybody is enjoying their time here in the community, if they're invested or living?
Okay. We're running out of time, and I've got so many questions.
Okay.
So let me get in one more. What is the current process for making board appointments, and what changes would you make to that process? Particularly, are there requirements that you look for in board appointments?
Okay, great question. Currently, what I would like to see, if I was going to create the board appointment process, I would like to have at least a 90-day heads up to community members posted on the City of Frankfort website, and of course now on the City of Frankfort app, which is great. If you don't have it, everyone absolutely should. So yeah, 90-day posting. That way we can get candidates, start screening applications and looking. I'm going to look for, depending on what the role is, certainly if they have any experience in that position. You know, sitting here, you know, a Frankfort Plant Board appointee is huge,
big.
huge.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm going to want to look for somebody that shares the same values that the city of Frankfort and its citizens do, and then, you know, expertise in the field. When we're looking at social issue boards, I'm looking for people that are passionate and that are empathetic and that are listening and that are willing to have tough conversations to find goals and achieve goals, create unity, get us all on the same page and moving us forward together. So I would like, in short, I would like at least a 90-day heads up or application process opening. And I think we've talked about that. I think, you know, hopefully that'll move forward as well.
Okay. We're done. So I'm going to let you address our viewers directly and tell them why they need to vote for you on November 8th.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I can't stress enough how amazing this opportunity has been to serve you so far as your city commissioner here in the city of Frankfort. We do have a lot of challenges ahead of us. But that is because we have a lot of opportunities. And I am going to be committed to continuing the process that we have set as a board with a strategic plan of 4 priorities, 21 strategies, and 85 actions to get us moving in the right direction, continued moving in the right direction. Our future here is bright. I truly believe that. I am very proud of the citizens and the business owners in this community for the past few years of sticking together through tough times. I look forward to continuing to lead with you. I humbly ask for your vote on November 8th. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach me at kellymayforcommissioner@gmail.com. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. We made it. No baby yet.
No baby yet.
Oh, my gosh.
No baby
Okay.
yet.
Well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
And to your family.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate you coming today, and I know our viewers appreciate hearing from you.
Absolutely. I appreciate being here. Thank you for the
All
invite.
right. Well, I want to thank our viewers for watching because it's so important to get informed because it's election season, and that's when we get informed, and then we go vote. And then after we vote, we go home and turn it on Channel 10 and watch the live election returns because we'll be at the county clerk's office. So appreciate you for tuning in. It's election season, so that means that it's time to vote. Your voice is your vote, and I want you to use it. Thank you.